At 1:17 a.m., my phone buzzed. Person detected, side yard. I tapped the live view expecting a raccoon. Instead, I watched the HOA president in a tan visor step through my gate with a flashlight and a tape measure. She looked straight into my camera, snapped a photo, and kept walking along my fence line. 7 hours later, I found an envelope on my door fining me $300 for unauthorized surveillance devices. By sunset, that same camera would help the police write a trespass report, and the board would suddenly remember what the law says about both cameras and locked gates. Installed cameras because packages walk in our neighborhood and because my garage door believes in gravity more than it believes in latches. 3 small black floodlight cams under the eaves, 1 doorbell cam, 1 side yard cam pointed at the gate and AC unit. No audio recording, motion zones trimmed to avoid the neighbor's windows, and a saved clip of a possum doing a 3-point turn in my driveway, which I consider the Sistine Chapel of home security. We're not vandals. We did it right. I sent the architectural review application with photos, mounting points, and the color I used to paint the conduits. The ARC didn't respond. Weeks passed. Packages didn't, so we mounted the cameras. Then the envelope arrived. Violation. Unauthorized surveillance devices facing common areas and private property. Remove within 7 days. Fines, $300 plus 25-day. I called the management company. The woman on the line, Carla, beige voice, said, "Residents have complained about privacy. Your cameras face the street and a neighbor's home. Also, cameras require prior ARC approval." I applied before I installed, I said, and the street is a public view. There's no expectation of privacy outside. Nevertheless, she said, and I swear I heard a gavel. I opened my binder. Every HOA story has a binder. Inside are CC&Rs, state law printouts, and my ARC email chain. Our covenants said exterior devices require approval, but exempted standard security fixtures such as motion lights and alarms. Cameras weren't listed because the CC&Rs were written when flip phones were a flex. State law? Perfectly. Legal to record video of your property in public areas where there's no reasonable expectation of privacy. Audio can be trickier in some places, so I had it off. I sent a calm email, ARC application date, and attachment screenshots of my motion zones. All inside my lot lines, street included statement that audio was disabled offer to provide still images. Proving I wasn't peeping into windows, the board replied with an escalation. "We will inspect the property exterior this week. Continued use is subject to fines." Inspect wasn't a problem. Exterior wasn't either. Property was. You don't step inside a locked side gate to inspect without notice or permission, which brings us to the 1:17 a.m. clip. The side yard camera pinged while I was asleep. At breakfast, I scrolled and almost spit coffee. The video was clear. HOA president, her name's Paula, pushed my gate open, stepped into my side yard, shined a flashlight up at the camera, took photos, measured and left. The gate clicked behind her. Timestamp. 1:17 a.m. I pulled the log from the front and doorbell cams. She'd walked up earlier with a man I didn't recognize, peeked over the fence, then decided to go in. No notice, no emergency, just a curiosity tour with accessories. I called the non-emergency police line. "This is probably small," I said, "but I want it documented. HOA board member entered my fenced yard at 1:17 a.m. without consent. I have video." An officer came by, watched the clip, and said, "That's trespassing. We'll write an informational report. If it happens again, call us right away." He gave me the case number and left looking personally offended on behalf of gates everywhere. Then I emailed the property manager and the board. Short, polite, surgical. "You fined me for unauthorized surveillance devices. Cameras pointed at my property and public street are legal. Audio is disabled. You ignored my ARC application." Last night at 1:17 a.m., the board president entered my enclosed side yard without notice or consent. Attached video. Cease and desist. Any further entry will be treated as trespass. I am happy to schedule a daytime exterior inspection from the sidewalk driveway with 48 hours notice. Meanwhile, rescind the fine. They replied, badly. The board is empowered to inspect for violations. Cameras aimed at neighbors create liability. You must remove them by Friday. Cool. I forwarded everything to a property rights attorney. Recommended by a neighbor. His name wasn't Sonny, but his retainer check cleared just as fast. My attorney, Mark, sent a letter that did not blink. Quoted the state's criminal trespass statute. Fenced, signed, or verbally restricted areas require. Consent, side yard behind a latched gate, off limits. CC&Rs grant reasonable exterior inspections, not nighttime yard entries. Cameras are standard security fixtures in 2025. Any restriction must be reasonable and content neutral. My cameras do not surveil neighbor interiors. Zones and stills attached. Demanded rescission of the fine and a written commitment to seek consent for any future inspections on my lot. He CC'd the management company, the insurance carrier listed on the HOA's website, and me. The CC insurance move is a nuclear marshmallow, soft, but it melts everything. The board scheduled a violation hearing anyway. Fine, I thought. Let's bring snacks and evidence. We printed stills of the 1:17 a.m. visit, the gate latch, the tape measure, and the flashlight reflecting in my camera lens like a bad idea caught on film. We printed my ARC email timestamps. We printed the motion zone map with a neat red outline hugging my lot lines. We brought the police case number and the letter from Mark. The hearing felt like a PTA meeting hosted by a gavel. Paula sat with 2 other board members at a folding table. A volunteer named Ron hovered with a camcorder like he was auditioning for court TV. Paula started. Your devices create discomfort. We received multiple complaints. The board may inspect for violations. At any time, Mark nodded. Exterior inspections are reasonable from common areas and the street. Entering a fenced yard at 1:17 a.m. is not an inspection. It's trespass. He placed the stills on the table, each one a postcard from bad decision land. Ron accidentally zoomed his camcorder in so tight all we saw was a mole on someone's cheek. It felt symbolic. A quieter board member cleared her throat. Do your cameras record our pool? No, I said. They record my driveway, porch, and side gate. That's it. We don't want to be on camera, Paula said. Then why did you walk into my camera? I asked. At 1:17 a.m., a neighbor in the back snorted. Another neighbor whispered, Get her ring! Mark kept it boring and devastating. Legally, there is no expectation of privacy in public or in a neighbor's view of their property. The solution here is a policy that allows security devices with sensible limits, no aiming into windows, conceal wires, neutral colors, not a ban, and certainly not fines triggered by unlawful entries. The board went to executive session. We waited in the hallway, where the carpet looked designed to hide coffee spills and regret. 10 minutes later, they called us back. Paula read, The board upholds the violation. Cameras require prior approval. You installed without approval. Remove within 7 days. Mark leaned forward. We will seek an injunction tomorrow. And because you've now doubled down after notice of trespass, we'll also seek fees. AI hadn't planned on going public, but after that, the neighborhood. Facebook group felt like fair game. I posted 3 stills from the trespass clip, the open gate, the flashlight on the camera, the tape measure. Caption: Board president entered our side yard at 1:17 a.m. to inspect our cameras. Then we got a $300 fine. We've offered to show motion zones and disable audio. Cameras point only at our property and the street. Please tell me this isn't normal. 2 things happened. First, my inbox filled with DMs. They did this to us. They tried to tell me to remove my doorbell cam. They said I couldn't have a floodlight. One message included a photo of Paula's visor in another resident's backyard. Daytime this time, but still beyond the fence. Second, 3. Neighbors posted their own footage of package thieves and a late-night car prowl on our street. Suddenly, the comments shifted from privacy to, "Why are we punishing security?" Channel 8, yes, them again, called, "Is this the community where a board member did a 1 a.m. inspection?" I said yes. They asked to film from the sidewalk. I said yes. Mark said, "Please don't say the phrase HOA Mafia on TV." I promised. We stood on my driveway with the reporter. He filmed the side gate. I described the motion zones. He interviewed a neighbor whose porch pirate had been caught on my camera the week before. The HOA declined to comment. The story ran that night. The headline wasn't kind to Paula. Before Mark even filed the injunction, the board's insurance carrier reached out. "We're reviewing." That's corporate for, "This claim smells like deductible." Meanwhile, a group of neighbors circulated a petition for a special meeting to amend the exterior devices rule and to consider a recall election. They needed 25% signatures. They got 38% in 2 days. The special meeting was standing room only. People came with babies, with folding chairs, with receipts. I brought the projector. When Paula tried to call the meeting to order, a resident moved to let me speak for 5 minutes. The motion passed with a sea of hands. I played the 15-second trespass clip. No narration, just the gate, the flashlight, the tape measure, and the quiet click of a bad choice. Silence. Then someone said what everyone was thinking. "You did that at 1 in the morning?" Paula started to answer, and the board's attorney, who had finally materialized, touched her elbow like, "No more words." The votes went quickly. Motion 1. Rescind my fine and any daily penalties. Passed 61-9. Motion 2. Adopt a clear security device. Policy. Allowed on any elevation. Neutral housing. Concealed conduit where feasible. Must not be aimed into a neighbor's interior spaces. Audio subject to state law. ARC review limited to placement appearance, not function. Passed 58-11. Motion 3. Board censure of any member who enters a homeowner's lot without consent except for true emergencies, fire, flood, police request. Passed 67-2. Motion 4. Recall and replace the president. Ballots collected. Recall succeeded 55-14. The new acting president, soft-spoken, wore glasses, took the mic and did something brave. Apologized. "We were wrong," she said. "We let fear and outdated rules guide us. We'll fix it." Mark filed nothing. The board rescinded everything. They even reimbursed my $125 for the gate latch I replaced because Paula's midnight inspection loosened it. They scheduled fair housing and privacy training with a real law firm, not YouTube. 2 weeks later, my cameras alerted me at 3:02 a.m. A man in a hoodie tried car handles up and down the block. I sent the clip to the acting president, who forwarded it to the list. "Community alert," she wrote. "Thanks to homeowner cameras, police have an ID." The comments were supportive. No visor energy detected. The best part? A quiet conversation with my next-door neighbor, the one who'd worried. My porch cam saw too much. I showed him the motion zone map, a neat red polygon that stopped 1 foot short of our shared fence. He nodded. "I thought it was spying," he said. "It's not." "Boundary lines," I said, tapping the screen. "Literal and otherwise. Cameras are normal. Treat them like motion lights. Reasonable aesthetic rules? Fine. Bans? No. Video of your property and public areas is lawful. Check your state's audio law and disable it if needed. Don't consent to surprise inspections. Exterior inspections are from the street sidewalk unless you schedule access. A gate is a boundary, not a suggestion. Evidence beats attitude. Motion zone screenshots, stills, timestamps, and a short clip do more than a paragraph of outrage. Use insurance and sunlight. CC the HOA's carrier. Share facts with neighbors. Both tend to bend boards toward reason. Fix the rule, not just your. Fine. Get a clear, content-neutral camera policy adopted so the next neighbor doesn't need a lawyer. If you like stories where clipboards lose to clips, subscribe, drop a like, and tell me your wildest HOA security cam moment below. And to the raccoon who visits my driveway at 2 a.m., you're still welcome. You're the only one who knocks.